Hello, hello, beautiful and handsome world changers. Welcome back to the Nomad CEO Podcast. I'm Kenz, your host, and I am so pumped to talk about today's topic per usual. That is why I choose these topics, because they are deep in my heart and soul. They're on my mind. They're things I have thought about so many times that I've asked questions to mentors or friends or different coaches or experts on. They're tied to books that I've read or other podcasts that I've listened to, conferences I've gone to, people I'll follow on social media. Like, these topics for me are so intertwined with my day-to-day life and breakthroughs that I've had and still even things that I'm even, possibly still working through, because I'm a lifelong learner and I believe there's always layers to learning different things. And so my hope is that as I share and speak on these topics, that if you find yourself in them, that you can take something in your life today as you're listening in your current circumstance, whether it's your relationships, in your health, in your business, whatever that might be for you, that you can take these things and apply them or make some adjustments, or maybe just a 1% change or tweak in your perspective, your attitude, that will then compound over time. I believe in renewing our mind daily. We can rewire our brain. There is such thing as neuroplasticity. And so these little nuggets that we can take, it's like we're hacking away on this new road in our brain that we can drive down and create new grooves. And every time something comes in and we really digest it and we really internalize it and apply it, we really do start to change. And, I run an organization called World Changers. And part of my belief in making a change in the world is that we obviously have to first change ourselves. And so what does that look like? Well, we have to change our mind. We have to change how we're thinking. And so when I talk on these topics, especially today's topic, my heart and my hope and my prayer is that there's something that is said, not because I'm so good. If there's anything good, I probably stole it from someone else in some way, but that you can take and apply in your life. That is my hope. And another reason why I'm excited on this journey, because this podcast is still new, this should be episode about 17 or so. I'm excited to listen back when I'm on episode 117, 517, however many it goes, because I would imagine that my take on this topic will continue to evolve. It will continue to grow depth and legs and breadth and width and life. And so I'm curious how future me will view and the perspective that she will have on current me when it comes to this topic, many of these topics. So it's kind of like a personal diary as well, in a way, that I'm just here sharing with the world. So here we go. Today's topic is on taking your power back. It is February 2nd when I'm recording this of 2026, and we just wrapped up our World Changers Challenge, which, if you don't know, it's a mind, body, boldness challenge. And we met for 4 weeks. And one of the aspects that we focus on in the mindset was we read a book called 13 Things Mentally Strong People Don't Do. And it's by Amy Morin. And it's actually part of a series of, 13 things mentally strong marriages don't do, or that might not be the exact title, but mentally strong kids don't do, or mentally strong women don't do. And she has a really amazing story of how these 13 things came to be. And it's actually very heartbreaking because she lost 2 people suddenly in her life, her husband and her mom. And she's also was a psychologist, so she had to show up and be there for other people while she's also going through such a deep pain in her own life. So anyways, it's just a really powerful, obviously, origin of where these things came to be, but they're so relevant. That's why I wanted to use it in this challenge, because it's really clear. Like, mentally strong people do this, they don't do that. And I think sometimes our minds can be so messy, it's helpful to cut through the noise, right? And I say all that because I believe it's chapter 2. It's one of the first chapters, how she talked about, mentally strong people don't give their power away. And essentially the, inverse of that is taking your power back. And so that's what I want to talk about today of a little bit of my own journey of what that's looked like. And I'm still on that journey, but to, again, hopefully add value to you and wherever you may feel like you've given your power away and it has led to a mental weakness of sorts or just a lack of mental strength. So as I was preparing for this, the first thing I wanted to look at was looking at, okay, what does that even mean? What does your power even mean? And I operate from the belief that no one is better or worse than anyone else intrinsically in our human value. There's people that make more money than other people. There's people that are healthier than other people, so on and so forth. But when it comes to our worth as human beings, beings, we truly are all equal. Our intrinsic worth, and it does not matter where you come from. It does not matter the color of your skin. It does not matter what you believe or don't believe politically, religiously, whatever. Like, we are all intrinsically equal. And so I operate from that belief. And so when it comes to our power, I think of it in synonymous to our gifting, right? And to our own sense of self. Like, who am I? What is this human, this bodysuit that I'm in? What is my spirit about? What is my soul about? Whatever resonates with you. But who is that person? Who am I? And what gifting do I have that is my power, that is my energy, that is what I can bring and serve to the world, and also have my own self-confidence and also have my own self-autonomy and what makes me me. So I feel like there's this overlap of our humanity, of our own sense of self and our own personal power, as well as our own gifting, which is very unique to us as individuals. So I see it like two sides of the same coin. And in my opinion, taking our power back is embracing, okay, who am I as a human, right? As like, what is my intrinsic worth in my humanity and as an individual? And so I love this quote. It's literally one of my favorite quotes. You're probably gonna hear me talk about it forever because funny enough, a little story, and then I'll get back on topic here. But in high school, I was called into the yearbook office and I can't remember what I was like, maybe a student senate or something, because I was on student senate. And they're like, hey, you need a quote to put in the yearbook, and you need it right now. You have 5 minutes to do it, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, a quote? It's going in the yearbook. Like, oh my gosh, I don't even know, it's a lot of pressure, which really isn't. But that's kind of what I was thinking at the time. And I was like, I don't know a quote. Like, I know many quotes, but what do I want to put in the yearbook, right? That's going to be there forever. So silly, but just that's where I was at. Anyways, the quote that I chose, kind of like off the cuff in the moment, is this quote, and that I'm about to share with you. And what's so crazy is that quote is probably one of the truest ones that I've held so close to me in my growth journey and getting to where I am and where I will even go and how I see other people as well. And it's a quote that I've put on literally, I am not joking, in my shower and different places that I've lived, because I've moved a lot, and I've handwritten it, I've typed it out, and I've put it in my shower, and I've repeated it hundreds of times. And I've said it on stages, I've said it to groups. It's just really, really spoken to me. And how I am, a note on this quote is if I'm reading a book, I probably read this from a book, but to take something that you learn and put it in your own words, because then you truly understand it. You're not just verbatim quoting, what you read, but rather you're personalizing it to you. So that's kind of what I've done with this quote a little bit, is personalize certain things to me at the time. And that's what I've memorized. But the quote, the suspension's building, right? What is the quote, Mackenzie? The quote is by Marianne Williamson, and she talks about our deepest fear. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We've asked ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, talented, gorgeous, and fabulous? Who am I not to be? I am a child of God. My playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so other people won't feel insecure around me. I was born to make manifest the glory of God that's within me. And it's not just in me, it's in everyone. We were all meant to shine, as children do. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Shout out, Marianne, you crushed it. I love that quote. And I wanted to put this towards the beginning of this episode because to me, that exemplifies what our power is. It is that gifting. It is that brilliance. It is that beauty within us. And we all have it within us. And so if I were to kind of give a step-by-step on how I see this in this moment, and again, episode 117, this may evolve. This isn't a set in stone process per se, but number one is identifying the power, identifying your power. What is that? What does that look like? How are you powerful beyond measure? Because you are. So identify that. And under the context of taking your power back, once we know what that power is, then we can identify when we no longer have it. Oh, I'm not operating in this power anymore. And once we see that, then we can see who took it. Who took it? And if we're looking at a relationship in our life, what relationship took that power away from you? And maybe it's not even just a person. Perhaps it's a philosophical battle, problem, something that is like, I'll say an example of in our health, like who took our power away in our health? Well, we could look at the whole system of health even, and not necessarily point a finger at any one person. And just for the record too, I'm not about pointing fingers. I'm about identifying roots. And that's what I mean by that. But maybe it's a system of, wow, my power in my health was taken away because our food system, at least in the US, has been totally backwards. And there's junk that has gotten into our food that should not be there, that is said to quote unquote be edible or quote unquote cause no harm. But who's done these studies? How long have they done it for? And in the amount of exposure that we have to it, that is not healthy actually. And that is actually how people consume it. So, that could be where we've let our power go away. But who took it? Where did it go? What does that look like? And then how did they take it? Was it slowly? Was it all at once? Was it consciously? Was it subconsciously? And why? Why did they take that power? And identifying that. And I personally think it's helpful to enter into that mental space, not as a victim, not as, again, pointing the blame, but rather just being a detective of what happened. What happened, okay? And from there, then it's saying, okay, why did I give it away? Why did I allow that to happen? Was I completely unaware of it, right? Like say with nutrition and food, of maybe I was totally unaware that these ingredients were actually causing disease and inflammation and the ailments that I'm experiencing. Maybe I didn't even know, right? Sometimes we just don't know what we don't know. Or was it in a relationship that I was so insecure, and this is actually a personal example, that, I've just battled chronic insecurity. It's not uncommon. Unfortunately, many people do, not just women. And I've gotten into relationships where I went in with the lens of, man, I want this man to like me so that it means that I'm likable, versus what do I think about this man? Is he and I don't mean this in a bad sense, but like, are we equally yoked? Is he a partner that is equal to me versus me being inferior to him and needing to earn his love? And, identifying that has been so helpful of like, oh, the reason why I gave my power away is because of this thing of insecurity. Okay, I'm going to use that example. So I am not therefore against this person, even though I've acted that way in relationships, no question about it. I'm actually against the fact that I allowed my personal sense of security or my personal autonomy over my health to be given away into the hands of someone else, when really that's my responsibility. My personal power is my responsibility. It is not someone else's. I can be upset. It could be unhealthy for them. It could be inappropriate or lack of boundaries or morally wrong or whatever you want to call it, of why someone would take something or how they did it or whatever. But as long as we stay stuck in that blame and pointing a finger and complaining and being the victim, we will not take our power back. They still hold the power over us, whoever that might be. And quite frankly, the reason why they probably took our power is because they didn't have power of their own. Right? So they had to take it from someone else, that they're not in their own sense of personal power. Rather, they're seeking to suck it from other people. And that power could be, again, in a relationship. That could be monetarily speaking in, a whole like system like food, as the example I've used. But until we recognize our own responsibility and take extreme ownership over it, in my opinion, we will not take our power back. They will keep it and we will stay stuck. So recognize who took it, how they take it, why they take it. Why do we let that happen? Were we unaware? Were we operating out of insecurity? Were we operating out of lack or scarcity? What happened? And in my opinion, once we've evaluated and had a healthy sense of awareness, that's really what this all is awareness. Again, it's not about blame. It's not about shame. It's not about anything that's not going to serve us. It's about awareness so that we can reclaim it. Because once we see where we fell short, what we did wrong, what we didn't do, now we can do it. Now we can say, you know what? It's no one else's responsibility to take care of my own personal sense of security and confidence and my own self-image, my own self-esteem or self-worth. That is my responsibility, not theirs. Also, even though I don't agree with mass production of so many foods that are available in our grocery store, my gosh, like when the veil's lifted, man, you don't see it the same. But I still have the autonomy and the choice and the responsibility to decide what I'm going to put in my mouth. Just because there's all this crap on the shelves that's causing, again, all this inflammation that's the root of disease, does not mean that I need to agree with that and give my power away in consuming it. And this isn't about, an unhealthy extreme or in the sense of, creating an unhealthy obsession, because there's definitely an extreme of that of like, I'm never going to give, I'm all self-righteous now and I'm not going to give my power away and I'm going to judge everything and I'm against everything. That's not my point. That's not the energy that I'm trying to give off here. I'm just saying we have to have a clear distinction of what went wrong, where we gave our power away, gaining our power back to reclaim it. And then in my opinion, from there, then we can have a healthy sense of peace in our future choices, in who we say are in a romantic relationship with, or a friendship with, or a business partnership with, or how we choose to eat, or where we choose to spend our money, how we choose to invest our money, save our money. Like we have more autonomy over our choices and power in our choices. And in my experience, in my opinion, peace and purpose in our life when we recognize those things. So in listening to this, if you've gotten this far, my encouragement, and this is, again, something I've had to walk through and I'm continually reflective on, because it's been, when I first read that book, 13 Things, I was like, this is the number one thing that I've been weak at, is I've given my power away. And so in reclaiming my power, I'm not now superior to other people at all. Like I stated at the beginning, I am equally worthy as a human to other people. Results will not be equal, right? Someone's income or their health or their quality of their relationships is in proportion to their efforts and in proportion to many things beyond that. That's, another topic and rabbit trail we can go down. But rather, I just say all this because in taking our power back, I believe that will empower us and allow us to walk out the calling that we are here on this earth to fulfill. That until we are authentically living in that energy, I see power as synonymous with energy. And our personal power is synonymous with our authenticity of who are we? What is our gifting? What are we passionate about? What were we created to do? What's the problem that we can personally solve in the world? And where those points intersect, I believe that once we've done all of this work, it then doesn't become about, necessarily against other people or anything. And there's obviously time and place to have healthy boundaries. It's rather of now I have the liberty and it's life-giving. Like now I'm free to go and do and create and be. And it's like each day really truly does become beautiful. Like I'm sitting here right now being like, man, February 2nd of 2026, holy schmokers, Batman. Where I was even just a year ago blows my freaking mind. Not even to mention 2 years ago or 3 or 5 years ago. Like I am not the same person. And quite frankly, I look back at even just these last 5 years and I evaluate that and I say the disruption and the chaos and the grief and the struggle that I've had in my life, so much of that is traced back to me giving my power away. And one other note on this, and again, this is just me authentically speaking of, I'm single, I'm 33 years old. I freaking love being single. Let me tell you what it is. I'm really good with it. And this is the thing. I believe that two things can be true at the same time and be opposing. So like, I freaking love being single and I'm open to a relationship. Like I've been on dates, I've been dating a little bit, but I'm, I have a certain lifestyle that I lead and standard, you could say, that I've set, but it's been so crazy of me dating today and how I go into dates and how I operate. Like I've never felt so peaceful. I've never felt so aligned and self-assured, not ego, not cocky, not better than, not comparing, not from a place of lack, but just like truly like, do I have alignment with this person? And I watch what's done, not what's said. And it's so crazy because I'm like, man, if I took this mentality with my own sense of personal power, and again, I'm still building it. I haven't arrived, mind you, but if I had this a year, 3 years ago, oh my gosh, there's a lot that would not have happened. I'll just say that. But I don't think I would have learned and gotten to this place of taking my power back because I didn't even realize the power that I was giving away, right? Like I was unconscious of what was actually going on. And I was just trying to put out all these fires above the surface and change myself and change other people. And that just didn't work when I didn't understand the root of it. So whatever that's worth, my heart is to share, again, examples that you may find yourself in, whether that is a relationship, whether that is your health or your finances or your business or your lifestyle. Maybe it's your sense of travel. Maybe it's your sense of adventure. Whatever that is for you, my encouragement in all this is to identify what is your personal power. And if you don't have it, who took it, how they take it, why they take it, when did that happen, and create awareness. Don't point fingers of blame. Like they were probably just doing the best they could, or maybe there is a sense of evil that's actually going on that does exist in the world, in my opinion. But regardless of any of that, like what can you own? What is yours? And taking full responsibility then allows us, like, we can't take the good stuff, excitement and the energy of our personal power unless we also take the character-driven stuff like responsibility. And then from there, we reclaim it. And then as we enter into, say, dating relationships or a marriage or your health or your finances, in my opinion, the fruit that we then bear in those areas of our life are directly correlated to the roots that have been intentionally planted with awareness, with regard to ourselves and to others, with the morals and principles that are necessary to bear that fruit. But heart work is hard work. And that's what a lot of this requires us to do. So anyways, my people, I hope that this was helpful for you. I could talk on this forever probably, but maybe I'll do, different series of things. And not just for myself, but this is a big topic that I'm excited to interview guests on our show about as well, of where did they lose their power, how they take it back, what did that look like, and to maintain a healthy sense of relationships and not going too far one way or the other or too against certain people or things even, but rather being able to have a healthy sense of perspective from both sides. So anyways, I appreciate you all listening and much love. I am so pumped for what's going on in all things. Life is so good. But it was a fight to get here. And quite frankly, in my opinion, it's a fight to stay here. And part of that fight is to have our own sense of personal power. And that's something that I'm far more aware of and dedicated to keeping and fostering and building. So anyways, much love. I love you all. Until next time on the Nomad CEO Podcast.